Landscaping can make your yard feel like an oasis, or it can quietly drain your time, and even more importantly, your wallet, if you make the wrong choices. Today I am breaking down some common landscaping mistakes that might seem small, but they end up costing you thousands. Most people completely overlook this when planting trees, but done right, it can actually lower your bills and boost your home values. Done wrong, well, it'll cost you way more than just a dead tree. Mature trees in a well-landscaped yard increase home values by 7 to 19%, and that's by records of home sales. They also remove pollutants and sequester carbon. If you plant the right tree in the right place that screens western and southern sun, they save $600 to $270 per tree in energy bills. It's easy to remind ourselves how valuable trees are when you just go try to buy one at the nursery, and that growth makes them more and more expensive. So what this reflects is as trees grow, they become more valuable. So if you're not caring for the trees properly, then you're risking losing value. And one of the worst abuses I see of trees is pruning. What we're trying to do with proper pruning, which is mostly thinning, is encouraging these trees to get big and mature, because that's when they maximize their ability to do everything they can do for us. Improper pruning, where we're doing heading back cuts, is terrible for trees and violates this rule of trying to get them as big as possible and as properly shaped as possible so they can maximize their value. And the other thing is, we're never going to get there if we don't stake them properly. And when we stake them properly, they can stand on their own very, very quickly, just after a year or two, because we're doing staking that allows them to move, sometimes with only 2 stakes. We have this photo here showing a tree that fell over even with 2 stakes, and now with 3 stakes we have it extremely stable and still able to move because we use flexible tree ties in a figure 8. This next one is one of those things you don't notice until it's too late, and by then fixing it isn't cheap or easy. There's 2 things you really need to focus on. A lot of the water comes off your roof. Some people have gutters. Then you focus on where those downspouts are and you capture that water and deliver it to a logical place. With a lot of the projects we do, the logical place is at the gutter. Or you can dump it out close to the street, but you want to get it away from your house. The other thing is simple gravity drainage. So if you look around your house, we want to try to figure out where most of the water is collecting, and then we want to figure out how it can, just with gravity, flow out to where you want it to flow to. If you're trying to get water away either through downspouts or just by drain inlets, you want to use solid pipe. Some people use pipe with holes in it with the idea that the water will seep into the soil as it goes. The problem with that is if you have plants nearby, the roots go into those holes and end up plugging up the drainage pipes. So drainage is important from many standpoints. In the landscape, poor drainage makes plants fail, and we've already established the value of trees. Your trees aren't going to grow if they're constantly have saturated roots. And probably even more expensive from a standpoint of losing thousands of dollars is the effect on your house, where you get mold issues and you get degradation issues where things start to rot. So what we're trying to do is keep that house dry all the way around. That's how you can save thousands of dollars in maintenance down the road. Hey, look who's here. Mr. Chip. You ready? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because if your basement floods next week and you didn't, it's on you. Do you ever walk through the nursery, see a beautiful plant, and think, yeah, that'll look beautiful in my yard? While this might seem harmless, this could be the difference between a thriving yard and a very costly headache. Heaving concrete, cracked walls, plumbing systems, those are all things that are tremendously expensive to repair. That's where your thousands of dollars will go if you don't take care in selecting things that are appropriately sized for your lot. We've run across many recently where insurance companies are getting tighter on branches touching the roof. Same thing with plants that grow all over the house. They can ruin the integrity of the structure. So what we're trying to do is encourage you to select appropriate size trees that won't cause root damage. And if you think they might cause root damage, you can use things like root barriers to make sure they don't. So in addition to trees, planting big shrubs too close to your house can create some of the same problems. I like to keep big shrubs out away from the house, where we don't have this example of lots of foundation planting right up next to the house. It makes the house difficult to maintain and also causes damage to the house. There's one thing worse than pests in your yard, and that's how most people try to kill them. When people treat for root knot nematodes with chemicals, you start this process of damaging life in your soil, and it can become severely damaged. In fact, after using typical products to kill root knot nematodes, the soil is pretty much lifeless and not a good place to garden. We established the value of trees in my prior point. Every bit as valuable as trees are is soil. It's the soil that's at the heart of being able to grow things beautifully without using a lot of poison. So the best way to eradicate pests and disease and not waste thousands of dollars is to focus on beneficial, complex soil life. And to build life, you can do things like compost and compost tea and our products like Maximize, Optimize, Nourish Biosol. That's definitely the case with root knot nematodes. The best way is to build soil life where we have beneficial nematodes. Envision that instead of building soil, you're damaging soil, then you're just having to make more and more investments into pests and chemicals, which could damage your health, it could damage your yard's ability to produce properly. And those poison products that are frequently used don't even cure the problem. Sometimes the problem comes right back. There's easily thousands of dollars in value there. DIY projects can be a great way to save money until you have to pay 2 or 3 times as much to fix what went wrong. Here are a few DIY projects that can get very costly when done improperly. So one of the things that I talk about a lot is how irrigation systems need to have some professional intervention at some point in order to make sure they're good. If you hire a licensed contractor, it really is going to vary, but probably somewhere in the $2 to $3 a square foot range. So if you have, say, 1,500 square foot front yard, you're around $5,000. It's an expensive job with expensive materials, and if you don't do it properly and have to redo it, there's significant costs to that. So in all types of construction, obviously there's things that go into it that I would think you would look into first. A wall, like is around me, requires a footing, a proper footing. Making yourself aware of proper construction techniques in terms of footings is important to have a wall that's long-lasting and permanent and doesn't start cracking, right after you install it. The same with all types of paving. The paving that we're standing on needs to have the proper joints so that you don't have excessive cracking, the proper finish so people aren't slipping on it. And all of those things take some experience. Landscapes should add value and not drain your wallet. So if you're fired up to improve your landscape and garden, but your budget is tight, don't worry. We just made a video, Chip and I, that shows how our friend Steve transformed his landscape using nothing but creativity, resourcefulness, hard work, and a lot of salvaged material. Go check it out.